This is Zena, and in this video, we're going to talk about self-image. Before I continue, please subscribe to the channel and like this video as I will be giving a lot of valuable information. This is going to be a quick dive through what self-image is, because self-image is such a powerful idea, such a powerful concept, transformative concept. First of all, I love this topic personally because of the potential it has, and it can completely transform the quality of your life. I'm talking about tremendous levels of transformation possible here by just understanding and utilizing the simple concept. So we're going to break into it. There's so much to be said here. I cannot cover it all in just 15 or 20 minutes. We will try to pack it as much as we can, and hopefully convince you of the importance of further study on this topic and taking some of these actions to heart, remembering them and putting them into action. So listen to this. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, he was a plastic surgeon back in the 50s. He was obviously doing plastic surgery on people, and he noticed a couple of interesting things. He would make changes on people that had crippling emotional problems because of how they looked. For example, they would have some deformity on their face, which they thought would make them ugly and unacceptable in the society. Or they thought even that they had too much of a big nose, or their lips were too small, or they had wrinkles or something like that. You know how it works. Dr. Volz would go in there and he would cut them. He would perform his surgery, fix them up, and make them pretty. And when he did that, what he noticed, much to his shock, was that even though he could take an ugly person and change that person's face totally, completely around, and make them beautiful and pretty, one of those two things would happen, and listen to that well. Two types of patients would be there. One patient, his life would be radically transformed, his self-confidence would be boosted completely, and his self-image would be awesome. He would feel great and so good about himself. He'd have a lot of self-esteem, and he'd go out and really change his life. He'd have a life transformation that would last for the rest of his life. That happened with some of the patients. But with some other patients, the second type of people, would also, who also went through that same procedure and the doctor would perform the same surgery, what would happen is that they would still think that they are ugly, even though objectively, if you look at them, they were now beautiful. And in fact, some of the patients were so upset with the doctor that they accused him of not even making any changes to their faces at all. They would accuse him basically of being a charlatan or a fraud. And of course, he did make big changes if you look at it objectively. But that person here, he's looking at his self-image. He has such a strong self-image of who he is before the operation that the self-image still remained the same even after the operation. And even though the external, the physical features changed, it's the self-image that really determines how you feel about your life and even what you believe is true. So this is an extremely powerful example. Think about it very well. Let's really define self-image. What is it? What's self-image? Self-image is stored in the subconscious mind. How you see your life and yourself and what you believe and what you think is true. Pay attention to that, what you think is true. And this applies to reality and it applies to yourself. So every belief that you have is part of the self, your self-image. What you think of yourself, of course, is the self-image, but also what you think is possible. That's also part of your self-image. For example, Do you think it's possible for you to be earning $1 million a year? Do you really believe that? If you do, then that's part of your self image. If you don't, if that sounds ridiculous to you, like it sounds like a fairy tale, like a wishful thinking, then that's not part of your self image. And so, that pathway of reality basically is blocked off to you because it's not part of your self image. It will never become a reality. What's happening here is that in your mind is creating a map, a roadmap, a mental model of reality and how the world works. And this model, this is the really tricky part about it, is that it's mostly subconscious. You're not aware of it. You're not aware of all the assumptions that you make about how the world works, how society works, how life works, and how you work, who you are. You have all sorts of assumptions that get in there, mostly unconsciously, by being programmed and conditioned as you're growing up by your parents or by all the friends you interact with through school. Basically, every single person you come into contact with. And not just people, but also circumstances that happen to you. And just even simple things like life experiences that you have when you put your hand, for example, near a hot stove and you learn the lesson from the really quick experience that you had. Right, but that gets stuck and engraved into your subconscious. And that is part of your self-image. And your model of reality is that you do not put your hand into hot objects because that has hurt you in the past. That burned you literally. So this is what you've got. You've got this self-image, and the self-image is like a large ball of yarn. Imagine this large ball of yarn. Give it a color. Think of it like you have a ball of yarn that is that big. And there's like literally hundreds of strands of yarn in there. And they're all tangled up, and bunched up together. And that's been built over all the years of your life. Up to this point, up to today, all the experiences have come in. And they taught you different lessons, gave you different beliefs and assumptions. And it's all concentrated into this big ball of yarn that is going bigger with the years. And it's perfectly or pretty big mess in there. So, all those experiences, all is sitting below the surface, not on the surface. So you don't even see it. Or maybe see just a little corner, a little piece of art here, or maybe a little piece of yarn there. And that's what's powerful about it and important about all this, is that this is determining your actions. Unfortunately, you don't see it, but it's determining your actions. I will do a special video, after this one, about the power of the subconscious mind. And it will explain how your subconscious mind works. And once you understand it, you can go around it. 95%, I would say, of your behaviors and actions are subconscious. So the results in your life are largely subconscious. You're not conscious of the results you're getting. So that is why it's very hard to make changes, and that's why you feel that you're stuck where you are right now. That's why you're stuck at the weight level that you're at, for example. You're stuck at your happiness kind of set point. You're stuck in your relationships kind, where you've always been. You always go after the same kind of relationship. And so you kind of tend to be stuck there. And if you want to create a big change, a tremendous change, then you've got to start looking not at the surface, below the surface, into this big ball of yarn. This is the subconscious. You start to unravel that stuff and looking at the self-image. So what's powerful about self-image is that anything that you really believe to be true is something that you're gonna be doing, or having, you're gonna be aligning your behaviors and your actions to what you believe is true. Remember what I always repeat: your thoughts form a blueprint that your mind and body will work together to make your reality, and what is expected tends definitely to be realized. So your behaviors and really your whole personality and what you think of yourself and what you think of the world and how you then go and act the things in your life, all are practical things you do in your life. They all are shaped by what you believe is true. And the crazy thing here is that it doesn't matter if you believe it to be true and it's false. You'll still operate based on that belief. Because by definition, a belief, listen to that, is believed to be true by you and only you. And so it feels as though it's true. And there are many things in your self-image that are complete false fabrications, complete illusions, and that is keeping you stuck where you are. So if you want to get yourself out of that, and if you want to get going in your life, and you want to create some big changes, whether with your career, your relationships, your fitness, or anything else that you want to change, or just how you even think about yourself, then what you have to do is to start digging into the self-image and do some of this work at the subconscious level. So when you actually start to change your self-image, and this is possible, believe me, it's really possible. It's possible to change your self-image. Then you start to create long-lasting changes in your life that are sustainable, and they are not like a yo-yo effect. Those changes actually last. And that's how you can create massive weight loss. That's how you can create massive success with the opposite sex. That's how you can create massive success with your finances and your business. That's how, in a nutshell, you can create massive success personally in your own psychology. Just how you feel, how you think, becoming more positive rather than negative, dropping away anxiety, dropping depression, dropping alcoholism. All of this stuff happens by working on your self-image at a subconscious level. I repeat it always, at a subconscious level. Let me give you a couple of examples now of what self-image is on a more practical level. Let's talk about thoughts about yourself. What do you see in yourself, or what do you see yourself as being? Because who you see yourself as is what your life is going to reflect. This is really powerful. Think about that. Your thoughts reflect your life, and your life also reflects your thoughts. So right now, you probably think, what I think about myself is just real. It's the experiences that I have been through. So let's take an example. If I believe I am bad at presentations, I rely on experiences to back that thought up and fuel it. I always don't know what to say. I always freak out and stumble on the words. My colleagues keep on telling me it wasn't good enough. I never had any praise from my manager on my presentations. So I must be a lousy presenter, right? It's a fact. Well, maybe you are, maybe you're not. But the fact that it's in your subconscious now, that this is part of your self-image, your own belief, self-belief about yourself, now your life is going to start to reflect that, and it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy effect, which can be extremely, extremely dangerous, and it will cultivate that fact that you are bad at a presentation. It's a loop. So maybe you were bad at presenting in the past. It doesn't mean you cannot change the way forward. But if you believe that you are a poor presenter, It's part of your self-image. You really believe it, it's engraved. What chances do you think you have to becoming a good presenter? Very little, right? And this is dangerous because when you believe it so much, even if I am telling you many times straight to your face that you are a good presenter, you will come up with 1,000 reasons to convince you before convincing me that what I am telling you is not true. Let me show you that this model of self-image is very, very true, and that there are shocking things about yourself that you believe right now with certainty, with big certainty, and they are completely fake and are completely destroying your life, stopping you from grabbing opportunities. What if you believe deep down inside that you are a failure? Concentrate on that. What if you believe that you are a failure? Can you imagine what that implicates? What that would do to your life if you really believe that you fail? What if you believe I'm clumsy? I always say the wrong things, do the wrong moves. What if you truly believe deep within yourself, I'm an alcoholic? That's it. You labeled yourself, you put a label on you as such. I always have, always will. That's just who I am. It's in my genes, it's genetic. Think of the damage that you are doing to yourself. Watch out for those words, those two words, naturally and genetic. I am naturally shy. This is who I am. This is how I'm born. I cannot make friends. Those two words can be killers. How about money? So many negative self-image problems with regards to money. My whole family was poor. Why am I going to be different now? Money is hard to make. This is your belief. What are then your chances of making money with this belief? Really little. What if you believed that life is unfair and life is hard and difficult? What if you believed I'm ugly and others see you as being ugly? How do you think that will play out in your life? Those are few examples of the limiting beliefs, part of the self-image that we can have and that can literally ruin our life. We all have got beliefs, a lot of them. This is how we live. We are not even conscious about those beliefs. Some of those beliefs may sound very silly and simplistic. Example, I'm a failure. It sounds silly, but it's not silly at all. You do recognize on a conscious level that I would never say that about myself, but actually deep down inside, you believe you are a failure. A lot of the things that are in your self-image are completely, utterly illogical, stupid, foolish, until you uncover them and put them out there. You know, you can look at them. They are deep in that ball of yarn we spoke about earlier, and when they are deep, you cannot see them. You need to remove them and put them out there. I will go back to inner belief. I'm ugly. You probably never articulated it, but it's there, you feel it, it's your belief, and it's reflecting in the relationships you are having. You find yourself needing the other person to give you compliments all the time, continuously, to praise you, to cover you with love. And whenever he or she is not doing that, you instantly feel rejected, you feel angry, you feel insecure, anxious, afraid, bitter, all those. And then this relationship falls apart because as a self-defense mechanism, you created a lot of stress and drama as you want more love, more attention, more praise, more compliments, more affection from the other person. What would be the result, you think? Lots of pressure will drive the other person away from you, and this is normal. But you need it because deep down inside, without realizing it, you believe that you are ugly, not worthy of love. and you need the other person to counteract this belief. This is how the mind works. So let us wrap up here. What can you do about this? I cannot cover it all in this video, but I'm really going to do a lot of videos about this. But what you need to understand from this is that beliefs are real. They exist. And this is where your focus should be. You need to affect change in your life by changing your beliefs. Right now, if you are probably trying to get some change in your life, you are kind of using your willpower to say, okay, enough is enough. I'm gonna go on a diet. Or enough is enough. I'm gonna make a goal for 2021 and I will make it happen. What happens, and I am sure you have noticed that, you quickly fall off because your willpower breaks. And it's not only you, this is human nature, because emotions are much, much stronger than logic. It's like using your back to lift something heavy instead of using the muscles of your legs. What will happen then? If you want long-lasting, massive changes and a real deep transformation without a yo-yo effect, the key is to work in your subconscious. Your subconscious is the power center for powerful, permanent, long-lasting results. It's the vault, that you open and then you need to uncover, where you uncover all those beliefs altering your self-image. If this is where 95%, of your action is stemming from. This is what you've got to be working on. One of the quick ways to do that is through the rapid transformational therapy that I offer you here. It's fast, it is effective, and it brings tangible results. I've been there, I've tried it, it changed my life. If you like this video, if you think others can benefit from this valuable information that I'm giving you here, please subscribe, like, and share as much as you can this video. Thank you so much for listening, and I want to wish you a happy new year, full of love, health, wealth, prosperity,